Good morning, gang. Happy Saturday morning. All right. Well, if anything this week has shown us is never ever subscribe to the "it can't happen to me" vernacular that goes around, right? It's sad, if you will, that we're watching all this, the remnants of this hurricane, okay? Hurricane Helene that came through and what's going on. Sure, Florida got battered. Georgia got battered. But here's the silly part. Tennessee got battered. Western North Carolina. If you go look at where the storm is right now, still huge, still spinning. It's centered over Cincinnati, Ohio, with the main storm reaching Columbus, Ohio, and Indianapolis, and the outer bands of the storm, which is still there, are going over Detroit and Chicago. Somebody please tell me the last time anybody's seen a hurricane in Detroit, Chicago, Indianapolis, or Cincinnati. Okay. This thing was huge. The devastation is insane. I guess so far the confirmed deaths are at 44. And I mean, this is all over the place. Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, trees falling on houses, people drowning. I mean, I think I told you about the story about the sign that fell on somebody's car as they were trying to get out. This is what's going on. We had dams in eastern Tennessee and western North Carolina crest and fail. We had Unicoi County Hospital here in Tennessee where they had to rescue people off the roof of the hospital because the hospital was underwater. Countless houses, businesses, and whatever floated away, okay? We're now pushing somewhere near 4 million people without power from this, right? I'd say this is probably the biggest story of the week, wouldn't you? Okay. The thing that most people should pay attention to, this storm has affected a third, if not more, of the population of the country. Now you got to remember, 80% of the U.S. citizens live east of the Mississippi. So we're talking about a third of the population of the United States was hit by this storm. Majorly, even minorly. Yeah, I was hit minorly, okay? I took a drive yesterday to go see what the damage was around. Lots of sticks, twigs, leaves on the road. I did see a couple of huge trees that had been uprooted. I mean, it was so much water that the root balls came out of the tree. They fell over. Right at the beginning of my neighborhood, there was a tree, the top of a tree that, and this is where the street meets a 55-mile-an-hour road. At the top of a tree landed on a guy's truck as he was driving 55 miles an hour. The funny part was, not funny, bad word. Interesting part was, this is when I went into town. I made a left turn there. Everything was fine. Got into town, got back. That's 20, 25 minutes. Maybe I was up in town, and by the time I got back there, this happened in between me turning to leave and me turning to come back. So, give or take 10 minutes, who knows, roughly either way, could have been me. Reading social media, okay, and I pay attention to a lot of what's going on because there's a lot more truth on social media than there is in the mainstream media. I ran across somebody on Twitter yesterday who was begging the people on Twitter who they might know to go look for her mother who was down in North Carolina because she couldn't get through on the phone, tried to get through to 911, couldn't get through. Is there anybody that could go see where her mother was? And somebody eventually, they connected via Twitter to other people who had ham radio, to somehow got to somebody who was there, who found her mother, who was alive but trapped in the basement because the house was destroyed and there were trees all over it. But they were able to talk to the woman's mother, and she was alive. This is what we are going to come to expect. We are going to have to work together by any means necessary to figure out what to do. Think about how scattered your family is, how scattered mine is. For example, my cousin in Chicago, my daughter in Indianapolis. All right. Trust me, they got a hold of me yesterday to make sure we were okay, communicating back and forth to make sure that they were. Granted, it's easy right now for us, meaning me and my daughter and my cousin, because the cell phones still worked, you could still text. But when it isn't, that's when you start getting worried. Then people start freaking out. And when people start freaking out, then they start doing stupid stuff. Okay. Making those connections, having that communication that you need with other people is going to be critical, not just to figure out who could sell you a can of beans, but are my people alive? What's going on? We need to know. I mean, I will bet in the last 36 hours now, there ain't a whole lot of people in Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Kentucky, the whole path of this thing, who really gave a shit about the election right now or anything else, because they were more concerned about their lives, their families' lives, and, okay, are we going to survive this? And that brings up another point where the time frame, if you will, of interest just disappears. Oh, that's over. Move on along. Okay, I'll give you this. The hurricane is still a big storm. I mean, it's not a hurricane anymore. It's still a big storm. But do you think the media cares anymore? Nope. Okay. Go look at Fox News, everybody's favorite, right? Fox News. If you want to find a story on what's going on with the hurricane, which I still think is the number one story right now, if you count down, it is the 25th story on foxnews.com. You could say other stories might be important. The big one about Hassan Nasrallah being killed in Beirut, okay? All right, I'll give you, that's a big story, okay? Talking about Kamala Harris's trip to the southern border. It's a photo op. Who cares? All right. Talking about two different college football games. A story on a baby who's eating pizza. Oh, gee. Another story about an 80s film porn star. Okay. Other little flippant things. A story on Diddy, of course, the political cartoons of the day, drinking alcohol is linked to multiple types of cancer. All these stories are more important to Fox News than what happened with a devastating hurricane that caused billions of dollars. At least 44 lives have been lost so far because of this. But hey, I need to know what happened in a college football game yesterday or a story about a baby that ate pizza for the first time. Yip-de-flip-and-do. You look at what's going on right now and just the people that are devastated. A lot of you guys watched the video I put up yesterday, and I mentioned Bear Independent, Caleb's House, Grindstone Ministries. I mentioned Ryan Hall and Y'all Squad. Got up this morning, I had a boatload of emails. If I'm going to put anything together to raise money, yes, I will, okay? If you guys want to do it that way, My Cash App is below the video. I'll take care of it from this end, getting anything done to help the people. Maybe where, my thought is, maybe where the devastation isn't being handled by the federal government. Oh, wait. Have we heard anything from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris about the hurricane? Not really, no. Oh, we're praying for you. That's pretty much all they've come up and said so far. And it kind of goes back to their little comments about when there's gun shooting. We're sick of hearing your prayers and stuff like that. It's time you do something. Well, Joe, Cammie, get off your flippin' ass and do something. There's a lot of people devastated right now that could use a little federal assistance, but God knows you won't be there to help. The Red Cross is too busy putting money into the CEO's pocket, where, 8 cents on the dollar that's donated to the Red Cross actually makes it to victims, something like that, because the other 92 cents goes for their organizational expenses. Right, okay, no. Let's do something as little as we can. Let's do something to help the people in Asheville, North Carolina that got devastated. I know somebody's going to say, Asheville's really Democrat. I don't care. Like I said yesterday, we need to come together like we did after 9/11. Politics doesn't mean shit when it comes to people having their lives completely devastated, may not have drinking water, may not have power, may not have a roof over their head, may not know if their kids survived or their parents survived. You know, maybe we'll do something a little bit to help them. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And I'm saying that because a lot of you have asked if I could coordinate something like that. I'd be more than happy to do it. So if you want to do something like that, do the Cash App. Don't bother with the Super Chat stuff. You guys know YouTube keeps 40% of that money. So, you know, and I pretty much bet Google's not going, hey, how can we help the people in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, nothing like that. So I'll do something that can help in this immediate area, you know, East Tennessee, West North Carolina, because those are the forgotten people in all of this. But through all this, learn a few things. Yes, it can happen to you. Like I said, ever have hurricanes centered over Cincinnati? There's a new one on me too, okay? Yes, communication is key, all right? Make sure you have some sort of way to communicate with you and yours, whether it's ham radio or some sort of underground railroad type network, whatever, where you can communicate with people in case there's devastation. If you have family in another state, no other people, no contact information that you can get to them. And I'm as guilty as everybody else on this one too. If Indianapolis is underwater, my only connection up there is my ex-wife, okay? I don't know my daughter's friends' phone numbers. Yeah, I'm learning from this too. This is important. Again, as I said yesterday, use this as a learning exercise. Figure out what you're short in, what you can improve in based on the stories that you're hearing from other people, because this was devastating to a wider swath of people. You know, everybody could say, oh, Katrina destroyed New Orleans. Yeah. This one destroyed a lot of the Southeast and is going into the Midwest. There are a lot more people affected this time. And who knows what happens next. I mean, gee, this was Hurricane Helene, right? And then we got, what is it? I think Isaac has already been named. I forget what J is, but we're close enough that Hurricane Kamala is coming. Pinball out.